Hi there everybody, Ollie here, aka Secret Nimbus here, another episode of Magic Duels. So for today's episode, this really will be my first true deck tech. I have playtested this deck, I'm very happy with it, so this is a true deck tech to start off with. We've finished with the brewing, I've got most of the cards unlocked, so now I'm quite happy to actually start publishing some deck techs. Okay, so today's deck tech is actually looking at Madness Vampires. So, nice interesting mechanic introduced in Shadow of Israfel, where basically if you discard a card, if it's got a madness effect on it, for example, here we go, first one, Murderous Compulsion. So if you've discarded it, instead of playing, well, sometimes you get an alternative cost, so in case of madness it's the same cost, but with madness you can basically play certain spells at sorcery speed. So say for example we've got like a Ravenous Bloodseeker, we want to destroy a tapped creature on our opponent's turn, so we can use his ability to like trigger his ability, which forces us to discard a card. We can then trigger Murderous Compulsion on his turn. Instead of playing it as a sorcery, we get to play it as an instant, which is quite nice. So it's a great thing about madness. It either provides alternative costs, such as the case of Avacyn's Judgment, where you can cast it for a X spell, or even something like Fiery Temper, where you can cost it for just 1 red mana. So it's pretty cool. So let's take a quick look at the beginning. So first of all, we've got Insolent Neonate, so a 1 red mana vampire. It's got Menace, so it could be quite a good early game damage dealer. Plus it's got its ability to discard a card, so it's a Madness Triggerer. We have to sacrifice it, but we do get to draw a card as well, so we get kind of like a triple effect. We get to discard a card, and we get to draw a card and trigger a Madness at the same time, which is quite cool. We've got Lightning Axe, so for 1 red mana we get to do 5 damage. We either have to pay 5 mana to cast this, or we discard a card. So again, it's like a 1 mana Madness Trigger. We get to deal 5 damage and trigger one of our other Madness spells as well. Heir of Falkenrath, so 2 mana, 2/1. Pretty tame as it is, but basically we got Heir of Falkenrath. It's a Madness Triggerer, so we get to discard a card and transform her into Heir of the Night. So not only do we get like a free Madness Trigger off of her, we also get to turn it into a 3/2 flyer, which is pretty badass. We've got Olivia's Bloodsworn, so it's a flying 2/1 vampire which can't block for 2 mana, but it's got its ability to, for 1 red mana, give any vampire we control haste until end of turn, which is quite nice. Got Ravenous Bloodseeker, so 2 mana, 1/3, which is actually not too bad, but its best ability really is its ability to make it a 3/1 and also trigger Madness at the same time. So you can use this for kind of like early on to swing for some bigger damage and also trigger like Madness to play out one of our bigger vampires potentially. Call the Bloodline, I really like this card. It's a 2 mana enchantment with a 1 mana Madness trigger, so discard a card, and when we do pay that 1 mana to trigger a Madness cost, we also get the benefit of getting a 1/1 Black Vampire Knight with lifelink on the battlefield, so that's pretty cool. Can only activate it once a turn, but it's a good, like, you're pretty much only going to be triggering Madness once a turn anyway, so it's nice to have a kind of like a permanent Madness trigger on the battlefield that generates us extra tokens as well. We've then got Murderous Compulsion, so we've already had a quick look at this one, but it's a 2 mana sorcery where we can destroy tapped creature, or we can trigger its Madness cost as a kind of a pseudo instant as well on our opponent's off step, or at instant speed with any other kind of Madness trigger. We've got Avacyn's Judgment, so it's a 2 mana kind of pseudo twin bolt, usually with sorcery, but if we can trigger its Madness cost, we can trigger it for X damage and then split that damage wherever we damn well please, which is really nice. Got Bloodmad Vampire, so this is a 3 mana 4/1 with basically whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it, or probably what you want to do is trigger its Madness cost for only 2 mana. Olivia, Mobilized for War, so this is kind of a very utility card for this deck. So for 3 mana, it's pretty cheap, you get a 3/3 flyer, but when you play a creature you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it and discard a card as well. So okay, so that creature, when you play it, you get a +1/+1 counter on it, it gains haste until end of turn. It does become a vampire, but we've already got pretty much 100% vampires anywhere, I think. And yeah, so, but when you do trigger this ability, you get to discard a card as well. So basically it's a Madness Triggerer and then also a pump spell for any creatures coming onto the battlefield. Stensia Masquerade is a 3 mana enchantment where all attacking creatures you control have first strike, and whenever a vampire deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. But what's great about Stensia Masquerade, you can actually sometimes use it as a pseudo kind of combat trick. So if you say for example you've swung with Ravenous Bloodseeker, it's basically it looks like it's going to be blocked by something with three toughness. You can trigger its ability to generate it into a 3/1. So it sends suddenly a 3/1. Plus, you can then trigger the madness cost on Stensia Masquerade, which then gives it first strike and potentially then kills that creature. So you can use this as a pseudo combat trick, which is quite nice. Fiery Temper, great spell. 3 mana instant, deal 3 damage is not that bad at all, but it's even better when you can trigger its madness cost as well. So a 1 mana 3 damage spell is incredible, especially as you can basically fling it at an opponent's face, which is awesome. Finally, we've got Incorrigible Youths, so a 5 mana 4/3 with haste, but if you can trigger its madness cost at the beginning of the turn, you've basically got yourself a 3 mana haste creature, which is pretty fantastic. To finish off with, in terms of the mana base, I've got it pretty even, so I mean you probably want black almost as much as you want red most of the time, so I've kept the swamp and the mountains pretty even, and then we've just got the 2 of each of the red and black dual lands. Okay, so that's the deck, let's go play some games. Okay guys, here we are for game number 1. So we're playing the rank 25 WTSN, I believe that was. We cannot keep that hand, so we're just going to draw a new one. This hand is actually really good, so we're going to start off with our Insolent Neonate. So yeah, we've got the Olivia's Bloodsworn, we've got the Bloodmad Vampire, and we've got a Call of the Bloodline, which is all very nice for generating all that delicious madness cost and giving our vampires haste and all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm almost thinking might go for the swamp next turn, get the Call the Bloodline down potentially. Probably don't want to play out Bloodmad, or do we want to play out Bloodmad Vampire like now? Or do we want to try and get Call of the Bloodline down first and then maybe trigger Bloodmad Vampire down next turn? Could also go for Olivia's Bloodsworn as a flyer. Choices. I'm going to swing with our 1/1 first though. I was thinking get Call of the Bloodline down just so we can like trigger the Bloodmad Vampire down next turn. Yeah, I'm going to get that down. Olivia's Bloodsworn can wait, I think. And we could have like triggered the madness cost on the Insolent Neonate to get Bloodmad Vampire down, but okay, so he has gone for Bonds of Mortality, and it enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and then you can also, creatures your opponent controls lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. So basically he's just dropped that down as a 2 mana draw spell. Okay, interesting. So do we want to go Olivia's Bloodsworn first maybe? We can give it haste this turn, so if we make sure that we're tapping just the mono black ones. Yeah, I think that's probably a good choice here, and we can always like say Call the Bloodline for later on. So we want to pause here because I've had times where I've missed the haste trigger on Olivia's Bloodsworn, so there we go. We're just going to swing with these two. There we go. Fantastic, so we push through 3 more damage there, take our opponent down to 16. So yeah, what I like about the Call of the Bloodline is just kind of like creating a critical mass of vampires sometimes as well. My god, use your words, Ollie. So okay, so we've got a Blood Curse Knight, which is a 3/2, which has lifelink because of the Bonds of Mortality. So we could really do with one of our like kill spells, ideally. Although we're not going to find it, of course we're not. So I'm almost tempted to Insolent Neonate here, just to see if we can actually draw into, for example, something which could help us kill the Blood Curse Knight and also get Bloodmad Vampire out at the same time. So I'm going to swing with both of these. Taken down by another 3. So we can't block either of these because this one's got flying and this one's got menace. It'd be nice if you realise that pretty soon. And then what I think I might do is sacrifice Insolent Neonate. If he, you know, finally decides to do some stuff. There we go. Then we're going to discard a card. Go get rid of Bloodmad Vampire. There we go. So, yep, we'll have one of each of these just in case we do find a kill spell which we can use with the Call the Bloodline. Which we did not, we're just drawing into mana, of course we are. I'm almost tempted just to sacrifice that for that, really. I'm tempted to toss away one of these manas as well and just call, just summon a 1/1 Okay, so he's got Rabid Bite here, so what's he doing? So he's going to kill my Bloodmad Vampire. Okay. So he can deal 4 damage to our face, and because he basically used Rabid Bite on that, he gains the lifelink from it as well, which is pretty crazy. And he's also got a Vessel of Nascency. I'm not really sure what that one does, so we are just going to Call the Bloodline here, get rid of one of these tap lands which we're not really using. So sacrifice Vessel of Nascency, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may put an artifact, creature, or enchantment, land, or planeswalker from among them. Okay, so we found another Insolent Neonate, which is quite nice. So we're just going to drop you, and then give you haste, I think. Marvellous. So we're just going to swing with all of these. Yeah, why not? We are going to get some lifelink from the Vampire Knight. So, do I play out Cinder Barrens or Swamp maybe? I'm going to play you out, I think, and then maybe toss away my Swamp on my off step for another Vampire. So if we just like outpace him, could be quite nice. So until we can get a kill spell for that, I'm almost tempted not to do that in case we do get something like Lightning Axe next turn and we need to be able to kill it. Because obviously I'll need to discard a card otherwise, so it's best to maybe keep that instead of going for the Vampire from the Call of the Bloodline. Also, my one that destroys a tapped creature would also be quite nice. So he's going to deal 4 damage to us. We're going to go down to 13 and he'll go back up to 21. Kind of annoying at the moment. Could also do the Insolent Neonate. So we're going to do discard a card, yeah. So he's found himself a Nissa, so he gets an extra mana out of that. Something good, please. Ooh, Stensia Masquerade. That's quite nice. So do I draw step Insolent Neonate, or do I go for a Call the Bloodlines for Stensia Masquerade? Because this is going to help us like pump up a lot faster. So maybe I just swing with these two. He can't block, so we're just going to generate ourselves a Vampire. There we go. Confirm. These will get first strike. And they also get the tokens on them as well. We get a second Vampire. So these two will both get pumped up. So that will go to a 3-2, that will go to a 2-2. So this will start to help us outpace the Bloodcursed Knight, hopefully, eventually. Once enough of this damage gets through, once it connects enough with the Stensia Masquerade. So we're going to get to 9 at least this turn. But I said, the more these get pumped up, the faster he's going to start losing life, so... We can always block with one of our Vampire Knights as well, so that's not the end of the world. Okay, so we've got another Bloodcursed Knight. Wow, we could really do one of our kill spells, ideally. So he's just going to swing with the 4-3. So, you know what? I'm going to block with you this turn. So he does get 4 health, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, we found Incorrigible Youths, so we could... Yeah, what I'm going to do is, if we discard you... There we go. We're going to get our Incorrigible Youths. There we go. So we can swing with you, and you. Get a Vampire out of it as well. 1, 2, and 3. He may decide to block with one of these two. I don't know. No, he did not. Okay, so all 3 of these are all going to get pumped up. So he's down to 13 now. So these guys are looking huge all of a sudden. So what else has he got? I'm guessing he's going for Vessel of Nascency. Yep. So he's... don't know which one he's going to go for. Maybe Ali, Eternal Pilgrim, would be my guess. And we've still got the 3-3 and the 4-3. Well, we've got at least the 4-3 swinging in the air here. So what did you go for? No, you did not go for the Arlie. Okay, interesting. So he does have 8 lifelink to gain, which is kind of annoying. So he's going to swing with both of these. So do we double block or? So we'll gain 2 life, and he'll gain 8. So we could really do with destroying one of these ideally. Would be nice, although all we're going to get is a bloody mountain. So do I swing with all of these and just hope to outpace him? So he's going to hit me for 8 next turn. Well, 4 because we can summon a vampire if we need to. We're going to swing for, what is it? 5, 9. So I think we just have to go for it at this point. Yeah, we got 7, 12 damage this turn. So we're going to take him down to. So what's he got? I almost want to just sacrifice the Insolent Neonate, see if I can find something better. Okay, what's he destroying? This is not good if he's destroying one of these. Okay, so he's destroying the Incorrigible Youths. That's not particularly good. So we do get tokens put on both of these. Do I sacrifice Call the Bloodline to keep us in this a little bit longer? So I almost want to just sacrifice that and try and find one of the... Like, we just haven't found any of our kill spells. We've like drawn way too much mana. Like, we've only got 22 in the deck and we've found, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the first quarter of the deck. Oh, and he's found a Gideon as well. Of course he has. Okay, so he's just automatically just outright sacrifice that for the emblem. And he's just swinging with everything here. So what's that going to do? 13 damage? So it's going to outright just get you, block one of these 5/4s, I think. Yeah, it would have been nice like a long time ago if we'd somehow got one, like all of our kill spells would have been quite nice. So he's back up to like 21 now. Oh, come on, game! So, yeah, basically we're just, like, fighting a slowly losing battle here, just because we've just, like, top-decked way too much land, like, every turn. And we just can't outpace him, unfortunately, because we just, you know... I think if we destroyed one of these earlier on, we might have won by now, but because he's just been gaining so much life every turn, we've just not been able to keep up with him. It doesn't help that, you know, we keep finding mana. So how much have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we found almost half of our mana in the top quarter of our deck. That is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. That is one hell of a mana flood with a deck which isn't exactly high on mana in the first place. Okay, so yeah, we've just outright lost here because you can just Anguish and Mask my token, so he's gone down to 9, but you know we've just lost that. We just lost, so I blame the draw mechanics there personally. So let's move on to game number 2. Okay, guys, here we are for game number 2. So we're playing the rank 21 dragon. So what kind of hand have we got here? Yeah, this is actually a really good hand. So we've got the Ravenous Bloodseeker, Bloodseeker, to then Madness Cost, Incorrigible Youths, Stensia Masquerade, and Fiery Temper. Okay. So what's he doing? We're obviously waiting for him. This is annoying. We want to get started here. So we'll start off with the Cinder Barrens, I think. Mudflow swallowed the lowlands years ago. All that remains are a bottomless mine of endless rain and ash. Okay, so he's white blue. Excellent, we've got another Madness Triggerer, so this is a really nice like hand so far in terms of the Ravenous Bloodseeker, Stensia Masquerade, Incorrigible Youths, all that jazz. We could really do with a secondary Madness Triggerer if possible. Okay, so what's he got then? Telling time. So he's digging for cards. That's fairly good for us. So probably want to do Dragonskull Summit this turn. Get out our Ravenous Bloodseeker. And then Cinder Barrens a turn after that. Very nice. We've actually managed to find a Bloodmad Vampire, which is good as well. So he's played out a Evolving Wilds, so I'm hoping that means he's got nothing to play this turn. He's popping it now. Okay, so we'll play out... Ooh, we could go for the Incorrigible Youths this turn. In hindsight, I was going to go for the Bloodmad Vampire, but I think this might actually be the better play. So yeah, I'll go for Incorrigible Youths, get this out nice and early. What's he got? Another telling time, so he's obviously digging for answers. At least we don't have to worry about anything else this time. Just got to wait for him to make up his mind before we can progress. So we're swinging for 7 this turn, which is awesome. There we go. Very nice. Come on, there we go. So we've got the potential Stensia Masquerade next turn if we want to. As a combat trick, a pseudo-esque combat trick with the Ravenous Bloodseeker. So don't know what else he's got, so we'll have to wait and see. Got a couple of removal spells, which is also very nice. Yeah, it's particularly funny using Murderous Compulsion on a creature that's just swung for you. Okay, that's interesting. We've just suddenly got... so he's played out Gideon. So he's going to plus minus 0 that. There we go. So I'm tempted just to Fiery Temper that and just kill Gideon. Ooh, we've got another Madness Trigger, which is quite nice. So if we play out the Cinder Barrens here, what do we do? Do we Fiery Temper that and just kill Gideon with the Incorrigible Youths? Yeah, I think that's probably the best play here. We can also then get out Bloodmad Vampire as well, which is also very nice. So yeah, double whammy really. So if we discard a card, we're going to go for the Fiery Temper, which is just 1 red mana. We've got 3 red mana available, so destroy you, kill Gideon, deal 3 damage to his face as well. Yeah, that was definitely the best play there. So you're going to attack Gideon, you're going to attack his face, take him down to 10. I mean, I could go for Heir of Falkenrath, really, actually. That might be the slightly better play, as it gives us a double Madness Trigger next turn if we want it. Yeah, I think that's probably the slightly better play. Plus, it also gives us the ability to swing in the air as well. So we've got the evasion. Stensia Masquerade, I think, will be quite important next turn, just to... It depends what else he plays. He's got Murderous Compulsion for destroying any creatures he might play. Okay, we've got Planar Outburst, so... Yeah, we're just going to... That's it. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm just pausing it because of like, is there any way I can like get rid of this? It's like, no, not at all. Not at all. That's a shame. So in hindsight, shouldn't have played out what's the word I'm looking for? So I think we're just gonna play out Bloodmad Vampire here. Yeah, in hindsight, shouldn't have played out the Heir of Falkenrath. Maybe a little bit greedy. Didn't realise we was gonna suddenly play their outburst like all of our creatures. So far, not seen any creatures of his own. Seen a Gideon. I'm wondering if this might be like a Super Friends deck, maybe, especially if he's running Planar Outburst. So he's obviously gone for the Alchemist Vial to draw an extra card. Yeah, Planar Outburst would work really well in the Super Friends deck, just because of the fact that your Planeswalkers just would be completely unaffected by it. Okay, so we've got Kiora, so can just outright kill Kiora, I think. So he's going to untap a land and +1 her. So I'm almost thinking just Stensia Masquerade and just swing for his face and get Bloodmad Vampire pumped up quite a bit. Especially as, oh no, he can actually prevent it from attacking, so yeah, I may as well play out now. I mean, he's probably going to Alchemist Violet, but yeah, I was expecting that. So at least Alchemist Violet is gone for now, for next turn. So yeah, he's prevented it from attacking, so wish we knew he would, but it's best to get that Alchemist Vial out of the way sooner rather than later. So yeah, kind of annoyed at myself for playing the Heir of Falkenrath out when I did. Said maybe if I'd not done it and kind of thought about keeping open the Ravenous Bloodseeker for the madness cost, that might be slightly better. But, you know, High Science is a wonderful thing. I wasn't expecting a planar outburst suddenly drop down there, although maybe I should have done, as he had no creatures. So so he's tossed away a couple of cards from Oath of Jace. When it enters battlefield, draw 3 cards, then discard 2. Okay, so it looks like he just got rid of some mana. So he's generated some red mana there. So Cura's being +1 and untapping another mana. So what else is he doing? Rolling Thunder. Oh, fantastic. So yeah, that's our last creature just gone. So now I'm feeling really stupid about what happens to my Heir of Falkenrath. So, unless we find something like just an Incorrigible Youths off the top. Okay, we found a Lightning Axe, which is not too bad. Shame we can't use it on Cura. What does he get with Oath of Jace? At the beginning of your upkeep, scry X, where X is the number of planeswalkers you can control. Okay, so he gets to scry there. Yeah, we need like a creature. I'm thinking like the only one which can really help us right now would be just Incorrigible Youths, just straight off the top. Just swing for it at his face. And for some reason he's tapping up Prairie Stream for the blue mana. No idea why. Okay, so I think he's got something here. I'm assuming he might have Ulamog? No, he's got Jace. I don't know why he needed to do all that fancy trickery with untapping his mana and stuff. So scry 1, then draw a card. Okay. So yeah, these have just been 2 like absolutely crazy games. Like usually, oh my god, mana again. What is with this deck? What is with this today? Like my draws have just been awful. How much we got? We're a quarter of the way through the deck and we've found what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a third of our mana in the first quarter of the deck. Again, you know, we've drawn way too much mana in both games we've played today, which is absolutely bonkers. Yeah, this is a Super Friends deck we're playing. This is a deck I want to try out next week, but he's obviously gone for the 4-color minus black. Yeah, this is absolutely bonkers. So we could kill both of these, but I don't really see much point. Oh, just annoying the fact that, you know, just haven't had the best of luck here. I'm just annoyed with myself about that Heir of Falkenrath. I almost feel as though if I hadn't allowed that Heir of Falkenrath to die, we would have won by now. Just trying to think. Oh no, he could have killed it with the Rolling Thunder, I suppose. And we've also got a Sphinx's Tutelage, you know, just to really kick me in the crotch. It's like, by the way, we're also going to mill you down as well. It's like, thanks for that. So yeah, we are in a very horrible place right now. Okay, we've got a Ravenous Bloodseeker, so we've got a potential Madness Triggerer with the Murderous Compulsion. I don't know if he's so he's gonna, what is it, scry 3 times for whatever he wants here. He also gets to mill me as well for 2 with the Sphinx's Tutelage. So what do we lose? We lost an Insolent Neonate. So he's also going to drop them. So I could kill both of these this turn, I suppose. Is that worth it? I think it almost is. So Lightning Axe one of these and then kill the other one. Almost seems a bit stupid, but at this point I'm kind of desperate, so... Seems like a bit of a waste to do that against tokens, but hey-ho. Kiora can -8 next turn, so I'm basically completely screwed in that regard. And he's also played out Sorin, so yeah, this was a crazy Super Friends deck. No, he does. So this is a 5-colour Super Friends. Have I missed out on like black mana in there somewhere? So what does that one do? So each opponent loses life equal to its converted mana cost. Okay, so I know he decided to just outright kill my creature. So yeah, this has been a lesson. So it's interesting of what he's done with the Super Friends deck here. I'm just having a quick look at inspiration for mine for next week. But okay, so yeah, we just got absolutely destroyed in this matchup. So really annoying that every time I seem to do a first episode, I just lose like 3 games in a row. It's just not fun. I said, like, with this deck, I've won like so many games, and then you know you just start recording and lose 2 games. All my good spells, like, I swear to God, like, none of my good spells have still come up. We've got to Call the Bloodline. I think at this point it's almost too little too late. We don't have anything we can discard, so I'm probably just going to concede here just because I don't really feel as though there's much point carrying on, unfortunately. I think let's just open some packs to finish up with. So Oath of the Gatewatch, we're almost finished here, so that's quite nice. Here we go. So we've got 3 packs. 2 packs we can open today? Yeah, just 2 packs. So got another Oath of Chandra, so that's pretty much all we need to actually finish up a Super Friends deck. Devouring Flames. Deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. That's quite a nice spell. What else have we got in our second pack of today? Dimensional Infiltrator, Immobilizer Eldrazi, Spatial Contortion. Okay, so hopefully for the next episode we should actually be able to get some wins under our belt. I mean, I swear this deck does work. It's really good. And for some reason today, you know, just recording curse apparently. But hey ho. But I'll leave it here for now. As always, guys, don't forget to comment and like if you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.